Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about how my life has changed since I got my sugar gliders. I know that some of you might watch this video for research purposes because you want to do your research before purchasing Suggies. Others might just watch this for entertainment to compare how their life has changed since they got their sugar gliders. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and please keep in mind, just because these things have changed for me does not mean that they are going to change for you the same way. Different persons have different experiences. This is just what happened to my life since I got the Suggies. So I hope you understand that, and I hope you enjoy this video. The first thing that has changed for me since I got my sugar gliders are my priorities. The thing is that I used to spend my money quite differently before I got my sugar gliders. I liked to shop a lot more. No, actually, I still like to shop, but now I actually shop for the Suggies more than I shop for myself. And whenever I have money to spend on something, I always think of the Suggies first. Do I need to buy any supplements for them? Do I need to buy any treats for them? Do I have enough money in my emergency vet fund? And after all of these questions have been answered, I decide if I want to spend some money on myself. So before I go to an expensive restaurant or even an expensive cafe, I always first think about the Suggies, if they have everything they need, and then probably I'll do it. It's not always this way, but sometimes I do have to restrict myself in order to meet their needs first. Since getting my Suggies, I became way more organized with my free time. I always like to plan ahead, so I am not a spontaneous person anymore. You can't just call me and say, hey, I want to go out for a coffee, do you have time? Because I'm going to say no. I am a good friend in a certain way, in that when someone calls me and says, oh, I'm not feeling so well, I need someone to talk, I will make time, obviously. But just for random outings, I am not spontaneous anymore because I organize my time a bit differently. When I know I have free time, I plan making their food, cleaning their cage, bonding with them, cleaning their cage sets, and so on. So I always have a plan for the free time I have for the week, and I try to stick to it because I don't want to get overwhelmed by the tasks. And I never used to be this organized. I was a very spontaneous person, and I'm not anymore. Relevant to this, I became much more organized with how I keep my house clean. I was way more laid back way back when, but it has changed drastically since I got my Suggies because I always have their safety in mind. So I don't like leaving stuff around. I don't like leaving clothes around. I don't like leaving water glasses, open chocolates, or other stuff potentially dangerous for them outside. I always try to put everything away, clean the dishes. These things I do because I don't want my Suggies to somehow get out, because it can happen. Thankfully it has not since I have this cage, but it can happen. So I don't want him to fall inside of a glass with water. I don't want him to eat any chocolate. I don't want him to hide under a t-shirt on the floor and I could walk on them. I just have all of these scenarios inside my head, and I know it's a bit extreme, but I just like to eliminate as many of the risk factors as possible. And related to this issue, I am also always very careful to check out their pouches before I start the washing machine, because I have read once that a lady killed her sugar glider inside the washing machine because it had snuck inside her clothes, and really not a good ending for a sugar glider. So I'm also very careful about that. Whenever I start my washing machine, before I press start, I go and count my Suggies, and then I start the washing machine. Also, I don't leave their food dishes around because of fruit flies. I vacuum under the cage at least every other day, if not daily, because of ants in summer. So in general, I am much more clean and organized than I used to be because of safety reasons, health reasons, and just because I don't like having too many insects lying around. I already have more than enough feeding insects for my Suggies, so that's more than enough. One thing that I never thought would happen, but it has happened, I learned to sew. Because I live in Europe, it's not very affordable to order items for Suggies from the US, and almost every vendor is from the US, and shipping costs to Europe and then also import taxes are very high. So I taught myself with YouTube videos how to sew. And there's also a group on Facebook called Safe Sewing for Sugar Gliders, and that's where I started. And I'm very proud of myself because of this. My mom always wanted me to learn how to sew, and I never have. And she even got me a sewing machine at one point, but I never learned how to use it. So now I can, and I'm quite proud of it actually. I don't often invite people over anymore because I have my Suggies in my living room, and they're not very fond of strangers coming to our house. And I don't want to put them through that stress when I'm home alone. The lights get turned off faster because as soon as it gets dark, I turn the lights off so that the Suggies can come out and play. And also, when I have strangers around the house, they hear new voices, they smell new people. It's just some level of stress that I don't really like to put on them. And that's why most of the time I do prefer to go out with friends and rarely invite people over unless they're really good friends that my Suggies have already gotten used to. Related to that subject, I have to admit I don't go out as often just because I spend quite some time dedicated to the sugar gliders. I clean their cage, I make their food. I don't make their food that often, but one of the things that I like to do a lot with them is bonding. I try to bond with them daily, so that takes a couple hours, and if my free time is limited, I do prefer to spend it with my Suggies, bonding with them. Obviously, I don't stay inside the house 24/7. I do go out, but not as often as I used to. My hobbies have changed a lot. I'm not sure if this is Suggie related or age related because I have gotten older, but I prefer to do more things that I can do from home. So read more, do some research. I really like to do a lot of research for my sugar gliders, but I think that's also YouTube related because I like to give you guys new information as often as possible. Actually, YouTube is one of the biggest hobby changes since I got the Suggies because I wasn't a YouTuber. I didn't do this. I didn't care for it. I watched a lot of YouTube, but I was never on the other side filming the videos. If you want to do it the proper way, you have to do your research before you film it. So that is a time-consuming hobby, I have to say, but because I normally keep my Suggies on me while I do my research or whatever, or plan my videos, it's not that difficult, and I do really enjoy filming the videos. So I guess that's a good change in hobbies and way more productive than some of my other hobbies. So I'm happy with that change. Now, this change I have definitely not expected. It's the fact that I learned how to handle insects. I am a very squeamish person, and when I got my Suggies, I refused to feed live insects. I purchased dried mealworms and hoped that they will eat the dried mealworms, and they did not. They hated them. So when I got my first live mealies, I handled them with a plastic fork, and I continued doing that for over 2 years because I was too squeamish to touch them. But in time, because it is more practical, I have learned how to, learned is not the right word, but I have become accustomed to touching them. And so now I can actually pick out the mealworms with my fingers and put them on the palm of my hand. And I can hold crickets. And I could never see myself doing that, but it has changed. For the love of my Suggies, I learned how to handle insects. Since getting my sugar gliders, I became more aware of room temperature, air humidity, and also smells. And while in the past, I never really minded being in a very warm environment. In summer, my apartment gets as warm as 38 degrees Celsius. I do mind it now because of the Suggies, and I am very careful about it. I closely monitor the temperature inside my apartment. In winter, I am careful that it's not too cold. In summer, I'm careful that it's not too hot. And because I always have to keep the temperature at a certain level, I have to make sure that the air humidity is high enough. So I do use a humidifier now. I never considered using such a thing in the past, but for the Suggies that has changed. And lastly, with smells, I am much more aware of the smells that I leave inside the apartment, and especially inside the living room. I am very careful with what kind of cleaning products I use, especially in the living room. So stuff like scented candles, essential oils, I'm very careful with those. Also, I don't like leaving clothes inside the living room, not just for security reasons, because I don't want them to hide there and potentially get hurt, but also because I use perfume. I like to use perfume, and I don't want that scent close to them when they wake up during the night, because it will bother them. I do know that. I know that not a lot of people can relate to this, but this was a big change for me. Since I got my sugar gliders, I started wearing my hair in a bun a whole lot. And normally, I like to leave my hair open. When I'm outside the house, I always have my hair open, or maybe in a loose pony or something, but rarely in a bun, except if it's really windy outside. And that has been a very big change, especially in the beginning when I had to adjust to wearing a bun, because I have very long hair and I have very heavy hair, and it hurts so much to keep my hair in a bun at home around them. And the best thing about it is that I learned to do a pretty decent looking 30 seconds bun that will hold the whole day, so I'm grateful for that. The last thing that's changed since I got my Suggies is that I am now used to being woken up in the middle of the night multiple times for no reason. I like to lie to myself that because of the Suggies, I'm going to be a great mom, because I'm used to waking up often during the night. And it's very possible that some of my viewers are moms and you're watching this video and you're probably laughing a lot about me right now, but I do like to tell myself that they have trained me well for when I have my own kids. Probably not, but I like to think of it that way, because otherwise they just wake me up for no good reason. So let me live inside my bubble, because it's so cozy in there, and I'm so happy thinking that I'm going to be a great mom, because I'm already used to waking up during the night, because it's definitely all you have to be able to do when you have children. Before I end this video, I just have a couple news for you guys. The first and most important one is, yay! My cage is finally big again. My Suggies have been successfully introed after 20 whole months of doing intros. It finally worked. They're all together. They have been together for about 2 weeks now. We had no incidents. They're all very happy. I'm incredibly happy, especially because I have the big cage again. It's much less stressful for them. I get the feeling that Nala is finally gaining some weight because of it. So we'll have to see about that. I have to weigh her tomorrow maybe. But right now I'm incredibly excited about it. I'm so happy and so thankful, because a very good friend of mine helped me out with intros, and it was so easy, and I learned a lot of new stuff on doing intros. And if you guys are interested, I am going to film a video about it and give you the tips that he gave me or that I learned through him. And I just think that this shows that nothing is impossible. I know that many people probably gave up. Even my friends, some of them gave up and they thought that it would never happen. And I always said it will happen someday. I just know it will, and it has. Never give up, guys. Just keep on trying and eventually it should happen. I know there are some very rare exceptions where it will not happen and intros will not work as they should, but that happens so rarely, so don't give up. And then the other news are we have new wheels. I don't know if you can actually see them in the background right now, and they look pretty much exactly like the old ones, from the color at least. We got Raptor wheels and they have been in use for about 2 weeks now, I believe, and I'm very happy with them. I had to purchase replacements because unfortunately my Freedom wheels both broke down. I was one of the unfortunate few that had issues with the Freedom wheels, but thankfully Attic Works is replacing them, and I am also going to film an update if you guys are interested on the Freedom wheels. I'm just really waiting to see all of the updates that they post because I don't want to keep posting a new video every couple weeks. I just want to have all of the information and make a final video for you guys just so you know, are they safe to use again or not. I want to have a look at the new wheels also before I post a new video, just because I want to reassure myself that they're okay to recommend. And I also want to see what the other owners have to say about the new wheels. So I am going to publish an update eventually, but I'm taking my time because I want the video to be complete and to not miss any information. I hope it's okay with you guys. And for now I have my Raptor wheels and I'm very happy with them. So if you're interested in purchasing Raptor wheels, or if you were looking into purchasing them, I do recommend them because I'm very happy with them and I do not regret buying them. They were a very good investment, and it was even worth paying the shipping from the US just because they're safe and sturdy and silent, and I can rest assured during the night I don't have to be concerned that my shoes are going to hurt themselves while running, so all is good. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you have liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Snapchat, and I will add all of the links and names in the description box below, so check them out if you want to, or follow us over there. So thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!